Good morning, I'm Enrique Legaspi.
I'm Mark tonight. Thank you very much for being here today. Could you please cue the movie?
College Track is a comprehensive program that's a national college completion program.
Their curriculum is more than just like books and paper and study hours. It's about how can we involve the entire community in the success of this one student, and I think that's really had a big impact here.
The vision was simple. It was about access, giving the students today the power tools of tomorrow.
All of us are like first-generation students going to college, so we need the extra support, and that's what College Track gives us.
My favorite part is the environment. Everybody's so friendly and it's like a family. Nobody makes you feel uncomfortable, and you can ask anybody for help when you need it.
It's really interesting how they interact with technology and everything.
We've now donated software for the engineering students to be used here for their four-year curriculum.
So we met a few months ago, and we've been working with Enrique, and we decided to actually have this partnership between the foundation and Dassault Systèmes, and to create actually this program that we call the i.am 3D experience.
Yeah. So now there's a new disruption called manufacturing and distribution. Now in 2013 and moving forward, there are new tools that are shaking up and changing the whole entire world. This facility is going to be equipped with 3D printers. If you don't have the ability to create CAD files or design, and when 3D printers are going to be in everyone's home, you're going to be left behind because they don't teach you that in school as of yet. Now, College Track Center will have 3D modeling for kids to learn and have future tomorrow tools so they could bring their ideas to life.
I'm taking robotics.
When I grow up, I want to be a marine biologist.
When I become a world-famous architect, I will come back and build future i.am College Track sites all over the city of Los Angeles.
We're able for us to actually win the robotics championship.
Thank you for helping me with my dreams with robotics.
Thank you for bringing this foundation over here to Boyle Heights, because it's a big help and it helps all the students get to college.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to show the whole world that we are Boyle Heights and we will succeed.
Your company is going to allow these kids to take themselves seriously, write, code, imagine, dream, and make.
We are very happy to have with us today the i.am.angel Foundation, and I would like to welcome our guest today. Please welcome Enrique Legaspi, Chief of Staff for the i.am.angel Foundation, and Vincent Archer, Director, Global Development for the Foundation. So Enrique, you're going to tell us a little bit more about the partnership that the Foundation and Dassault Systèmes have.
Definitely. So when I say I am, you say 3D, I am. And that's what it's about. It's about taking 2D ideas and making them into a reality, a 3D reality. And so for Will.i.am, who's our president, it's also about imagining, making, and sharing these 2D ideas. So we can look at different issues in the neighborhood where I came from. And the neighborhood that I came from is Boyle Heights. So let me tell you my story. But before I do that, I want to introduce my colleague, Vincent Archer. So if you can give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Enrique, the floor is all yours.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
i.am 3D experience. We're very, very proud to announce this partnership because it is about getting students to create content, curate the content, and share it. STEAM education does represent science, technology, engineering, arts and athletics, and mathematics. But for neighborhoods like Boyle Heights, which is creative, Boyle Heights invented 32 gangs. So the creativity is there. But we are in 2013. Yes, the 90s were rough. Early 2000, there was a lot of gang activity. But what Will.i.am and I share is this idea of a gangster geek. A geek who can take their ideas to the next level and not only compete locally, at a state level, nationally, but also, like our president, perform internationally. So let's get it started. I am the Chief of Staff for Boyle Heights. What does that mean? I oversee all the youth policy and programming for Boyle Heights. I was kidnapped from the classroom last year. I worked as a middle school teacher for 10 years, digging into my own pockets to make sure that the students of today had those power tools of tomorrow. And 3DS is a power tool. Will.i.am and myself believe in this power tool, and it's important that we get students in the driver's seat today. As Chief of Staff, it's important that I decide what are those power tools. My story includes making sure that all students, not only in Boyle Heights, have access to get these power tools and to get these new ideas shared with the world. We hear a lot about 21st century learning. Teamwork, collaboration, problem solving. But for communities like Boyle Heights, they need opportunity and direction. Boyle Heights is a lost community. And so it's important for these partnerships that we make and for the right people to get involved so that this lost community can now find direction. And for Will.i.am, myself, it's more than just inspiring. It's about getting students to innovate, putting them in the driver's seat. Because in schools, they definitely feel like they are in the passenger seat. So they need to drive. They need to edit their own learning because it's the editor who learns. And they can do it through 3DS. And so the i.am 3D experience really represents a transformative movement, transformational impact for families of Boyle Heights, for all the stakeholders. Not only do we want to change America's schools, but we're definitely going to demonstrate that at Boyle Heights. And one school that we're working with is Roosevelt High School. And it was featured in Waiting for Superman as the lowest performing high school in the United States. This is where Will.i.am's mom went to. This is where my dad's 8 brothers and sisters went to. And you're telling me that the school that I'm going to attend is the lowest performing school in America? What are we doing about that? The power of paying attention. So, Vince, myself, Will, 3DS, Esri, Laureen Powell Jobs, all these different people are paying attention to provide access. These students here just saw our president beam a song back from Mars. And they go to the worst performing high school, that just doesn't sync up. These kids need a chance. They need people to take risks so they can dream big and make it happen. And when you take students seriously, they will rise to the occasion. They will surpass any expectation that you set before them. Don't be afraid of the student voice. So when I see this picture, I see an opportunity. I see smiling faces, and I see students walking through JPL in Pasadena and saying, hey, there's my office. It becomes real. Exposure does so much. Think of the times in your childhood when you saw something new. The things that you did, that's what we remember. And so as i.am.angel Foundation, we want students to innovate. However, it's important that they also are exposed to not only new ideas, but to professionals like you, to mentors, to strong companies who really support the future of education. Students saw Will put a song on a robot, send it to Mars, but that wasn't enough. For the i.am.angel Foundation, we wanted to provide unrivaled opportunities, unparalleled access. So what does it look like? Meeting President Clinton, getting to talk to him about foreign policy. What does STEM education look like in America's schools? It's more than just a photo opportunity. And the two pictures that you see off to the side are actually students who traveled to Beijing, China this past summer. We took 7 students from Boyle Heights who live in the projects, who make less than, their families make less than $20,000 a year. Doesn't stop us. We're not here to get in the way. We provide unconditional support, as I mentioned. And we sent 7 students to China to get those new ideas and bring it back. And they told me, no, you can't send 9th graders. It's the same thing they told Will when he said, that song, My Humps, it's not good. Let's get started. I don't think that's good for radio. You are always going to have naysayers. Your non-believers can motivate you. And so for us, that's part of our gimmick when it comes to entrepreneurship. We stay steadfast, we stay focused, and when we dream big, we're going to start what we finish and finish what we start. And these students, 12, 13 years old, traveled to Beijing for 1 whole month. I can only last 1 week. And not only did they see what's happening in this country, not only did they take classes in Mandarin, but they're also committed to taking Mandarin for a whole entire year. And so we have a partnership with UCLA and the Confucius Institute for them not only to learn Mandarin, but to be engaged with Chinese theater, Chinese opera. And I think that's important when we think about these initiatives and how we plan to transform communities like Boyle Heights or places like Detroit, New Orleans. Let's go to East London. Anything east needs some transformative pressure. And so I see Rosa standing with these young children from China, and it makes me happy, but it reminds me we do need to do more. It's more than just studying abroad, but again, like we're here today, it's giving them those right tools. Roosevelt High School. Today it services 2,600 kids. There was a time when it serviced 6,000 students. I was a teacher at Hollenbach Middle School, directly across the street, like where the exit sign is. And my first year teaching, I had 48 kids in that class. I felt like a PE teacher. How do you inspire students with a piece of chalk? That's what I was given. One piece of chalk to take these kids to the next level. So that's why it was important for me to look beyond LAUSD, which stands for Los Angeles Unified School District. And I had to find partners in companies to invest in the classroom. And I was very fortunate in my 7th year of teaching to get $80,000 poured into my classroom to become paper-free. That was the vision. To create a paper-free classroom. The students here were tired of getting memos that say, today is Martin Luther King Day. I know. It's on my calendar. I got the update on my phone. So when we think about CADIA, GIS, going to China, this doesn't insult a student's intelligence. It gets them to think about what else is out there for me, to find their passion. That's always the toughest question I get asked by these students that you see in this picture. And these students were inducted to become Will's Kids, part of the i.am College Track program, where we make dreams of college a reality, because these students have been told, you won't go to college. And if you do, what are you going to do there? What are you passionate about? And so for the i.am.angel Foundation, we are super focused in making sure that students identify their passion at a very early age. And the way they're going to identify their passion is by giving them these tools. Imagine these students with CATIA in the 9th grade, taking their ideas, their drawings, and making it real so they can change their situation with the STEM education. Alexander Kozio was told, he's the young individual standing to the left, was told, you will have a career in computer repair. And he believed in this because the adults at the campus were telling him that. This was available, computer repair. There's computer repair classes. But I know Alexander Kozio, and we call him Kozio, wanted more. And that's why I love this quote. I love technology and want to find a career in it. So if he loves technology, I think it's important that we show him the diversity of careers. It's more than just repair and getting a computer to talk to a printer. That's basically the repair that's happening at his campus, is I want to print something. How do I send an email? But because we show Kozio things like Esri, geographic information systems, and my favorite, 3DS, to provide this i.am 3D experience so that he can dream big and change his situation. It's more Kozio, and that's what we want to do. And this is a great picture because, like me today, they're standing in front of an audience sharing their story. The student voice is powerful. Listen, and you will hear and find, and I would say even discover, something unseen. And it will help you picture those possibilities of what can happen in our schools today. i.am College Track, we have Will.i.am standing with Carly. That's one of his favorite students. Really quick story, the big reason why he loves Carly is because Carly always challenges Will. People will come up to Will, some of the students that he works with, yo, Will, can you get me an autograph from Justin Bieber? Carly's not like that. Carly is different. Carly says, Will, I bet you didn't know this. I bet I can teach you something. And she always does this. And so Will loves to bring her around, and obviously she's standing with Dean Kamen because she's our team captain for robotics. And in order for us to compete in robotics, like you saw the US First logo, we need 3DS. We need the software to produce results. And at i.am College Track, for us as a foundation, we do push STEAM education. I know STEM is just starting to catch traction, but we're going to push you and say, we need to add that A, because arts will connect the dots so that when we design things, it's not ugly. Right? Student life is very important, so that's why I shared some of those pictures of us going to China, of the students standing with Will at Roosevelt High School, of them going to JPL and seeing a song beam back from Mars, meeting the rocket scientists, meeting the different professionals that can expose them. And what's great is these kids, they network. Let me get your card. And so they are in the driver's seat, taking control of their future. So we love taking field trips. We took 35 plus field trips. Some of them you saw. And it is about access. So let me just take another minute to talk about FIRST Robotics. This past year in St. Louis, this is where the FRC competition takes place, Will made an announcement. He's been supporting FRC for a while now. But in his own hometown of Boyle Heights, no team. So he challenged the students of Boyle Heights, the teachers, the administrators, Vince, myself, to say, we need a team here competing next year. Okay. But how are we going to get there? Thank you to JP and Mark and the entire Dassault family. We created the i.am 3D experience. So our students now have access to the software, and not only have access to the software, have a lab, a space for them to create and work with mentors and professionals to create a competitive robot. That will transform Boyle Heights. That changes what the cholos do. That changes what our young girls do. We're creating new role models. The blueprint in Boyle Heights is one of failure. When you walk down the street, liquor store, checks cashed, a motel, really bad consumerism. I mean, we used to be the mural capital of the world. And today, we're not. If you were to map out every billboard in Boyle Heights, you'll see a significant difference between the amount of murals that we used to have to the amount of advertisements. And so that says something about Boyle Heights. It's a leading indicator that everyone needs to do more and hold each other accountable. So we use GIS, Geographic Information Systems, to map out these ads and these murals. Map the issue, illustrate the problem, and simulate the solution. When I first started teaching, I used the 5-step kind of workflow for students. Discover, define, design, develop, and deliver. 5 steps too many for my students. So I narrowed it down to 3. Create, curate, and share. So here's Will with Jack Dangerman, the CEO and founder of GIS. And this was a very powerful partnership and example of what's possible. I would say even at Esri, they didn't believe we can pull this off. They didn't think project-based learning would work at Roosevelt High School. And that is the future of education, project-based learning. Giving the students a big idea to tackle, something that they care about. And we were able to do that with GIS, Esri Maps. I can't wait to see what we're going to do with the i.am 3D experience. For 10 years, I inspired people, my students. I was very good at that. But where I always felt like I needed to do more was in the innovation piece. And as a classroom teacher, it was tough. Like I mentioned, my first day of school, I only had one piece of chalk. And it was through the help of people like Will.i.am that started investing in my classroom to create this vision of making it paper-free. And so when we think of transform, we're thinking about the future. And if we can do it in Boyle Heights, we can do it anywhere. And transforming the future requires everyone to pay attention. Being paper-free is futuristic. One of my favorite lines from Julie Ruiz, who's now an 11th grader at Roosevelt High School, and also one of our cheerleaders at the campus. To be paper-free really forces you to work through this workflow of creating content using mobile devices, laptops, different technologies. Something that I loved to do in the classroom was BYOT, bring your own technology. To get students to think about what are those softwares, think about cloud computing, so that they can collaborate with people across the country. No borders. And it was very interesting to see the students become more engaged with their own learning by becoming paper-free. I mean, students were wearing backpacks in Boyle Heights, but nothing was in it. It was just part of this look. They would even sit down with it. Like, you're not going to take that off? No. Okay. This was my classroom. I was very fortunate to get sponsored by Microsoft. My students came to me and said, "Mister, we need more things." And so we made a video and we sent it to Oprah. Because, you know, they watched TV and they saw Oprah giving things out. I was like, wow, we should do that. And so we made a video, student-led, student-produced, student-edited, student everything. As a teacher, that was kind of my thing. You guys want to do it? Let's do it. I'll support you. Figure it out. Make it happen. Because as a classroom teacher, my constraint was content standards and getting kids ready for the standardized test. And so we made this video for Oprah, but Oprah didn't bite. It stayed in that circle of that network, and we finally get a call from a producer saying, "Hey, we really want to help the school you're at." So not only did I get $80,000 into my classroom, but the students got $500,000 to the school. They were able to transform not only my classroom, but 10 other classrooms by putting smart boards and Promethean boards, active response devices, so that my classroom wasn't the only one that was paper-free. My classroom wasn't the only one that was futuristic. And what was super rewarding was to see the students driving all of this. Somebody was paying attention to them and taking their academics seriously. And so I was given about 10 HP touchscreen computers, a class set of about 32 laptops. But that wasn't enough. Yeah, my students and I can say thank you. But the better way to say thank you is by using it. And by doing things with it to produce results, to transform our situation in the community that we live in. So we have Mariano, Kimberly, and Stacy. I've worked with these students for 3 years. And today, they can dream bigger because they have access. The transformational impact that we're making in Boyle Heights is going on right now. It's happening yesterday. It's going to happen tomorrow. This work never ends. I joke around, but I'm very serious with it. There is no vacation in my work, especially when you work for Will.i.am. I get my call at midnight because that's usually when he has these moments of clarity. And to you, you know me as Enrique. He calls me Kike. And he says, "Hey, Kike, I have an idea. And I got to get ready because I know I'm about to hear something transformational. And it's part of my responsibility to take this grand design and impact the students, the families, all vested stakeholders of Boyle Heights. Will is walking with the students. You'll notice Will in a lot of these pictures because Will is, I mean, he teaches, he works. He's just not this guy who's making music with Britney Spears. He's really there. This is where he came from. He came from Estrada Courts Projects, where we're about to do some really great stuff in health and wellness, and we're gonna use the CATIA and 3DS software to simulate what's possible. And we're coming back from this great announcement. What Will did was he gave 60 students each $2,000. Not to put in their pocket, but to start saving for college. Will also does this thing, or as i.am.angel Foundation, we want to send students to college debt-free. Get good grades. And we tell students to get good grades, to think about STEM education because it'll help you be organized. And we want students to go to college debt-free so they can focus on the dream, but also give them the opportunity to create new careers. If you ask a student at Roosevelt, you're gonna hear some of the things we heard growing up. What do you wanna be when I grow up? Oh, I wanna be a doctor. I wanna be a lawyer. But I think by giving them access to these tools, you're now hearing a student say, I want to be an engineer who designs the next best coffee maker. They're thinking about appliances. What are those new medical tools that they can design? But they need those tools to design it. And they have to be professional, up to date, and what all the experts are using. We want to take these two-dimensional ideas and make them into 3D realities for our kids. I'm still learning about CATIA and what those possibilities are. But what I love about what I hear, it seems infinite, endless, limitless. So just like my students, I'm excited about this. On October 15th, we opened up a center in Boyle Heights, which will ultimately serve 300 students who attend Roosevelt High School. In 10 years, these 300 kids will all be in college. And in 15 years, these students will be the new professionals. And they won't leave Boyle Heights. They'll stay in Boyle Heights and change it. And that's the ultimate goal. Don't leave Boyle Heights. That was the old tradition. You know, get an education, do well, get good grades, go to Columbia, you know, go to a strong university, and never come back. Never look back. Boyle Heights is one of the oldest neighborhoods of Los Angeles, just like Pasadena. And so we need to change that tradition. And all Boyle Heights needs is for the people who live in it to start taking care of it. That's that simple. Start taking care of it. But it's more than just mowing the lawn, throwing stuff in the trash can. You change your neighborhood, you change your situation with a STEM education. We want students to break the tradition. We want them to look at alternate solutions as mentioned on this slide. And we know we could do it with the i.am 3D experience. And we're going to do it with i.am College Track. We're going to do it with i.am GIS. We're going to do it with i.am going to China. i.am. Check it out. We're going to come out with something called i.am hungry. discover the 3D experience. This is where we're at today. And I'll let Vince share a little bit about, but we would really love support from anyone in this room or from people you may know to help us launch a robust and comprehensive i.am 3D experience in Boyle Heights so that we can scale and expand this and change the schools of America. Because the schools of America, I'll be bold, is failing our students today. Students are bored. But it's not like there's no solution. We have power tools. We have project-based learning. You have passionate educators that are wanting to learn, to be revived, to be reinvigorated, and to get that extreme makeover. Picture the possibilities with us. This is pretty self-explanatory. He's super ready. And he's ready to share his story in a powerful way. Vince, if you can share with our 3 minutes left.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I still got that teacher in me. I tend to talk a lot. About design and collaboration and some new initiatives that we're looking to do with the i.am.angel Foundation.
Absolutely. First of all, I'm not Enrique. He is our go-to guy when it comes to sharing our message. He's from Boyle Heights. I'm from Detroit. All right. But it's interesting, the stories that are told by our students in Boyle Heights are the same stories that we have in Detroit and other major urban areas. This past year, the state of California plan was to give out iPads to all of the public school students. They spent $1 billion?
$679 per iPad. And you know the new iPad just came out at $499.
But it was $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, total. Our kids in Boyle Heights were one of the first to receive the iPads. It took our kids in Boyle Heights 7 minutes to break the iPad. It took 10 days for the other students to learn how to do it, and then it took, I guess, moments for the schools to take them back. It's interesting because these are the same kids that, like you said, came from the worst school in America. And like Detroit and other cities out there, it's a problem that these kids are the forgotten kids. And with the i.am.angel Foundation and with Will, we cannot allow that. We can't do it alone. We need your help. And it's not always about money, although any donations I'm willing to accept before I leave. But it's not about money, it's about giving your time. It does wonders for a kid who's never met an engineer to learn what does it take to become an engineer. It's not just about your grades, but what are your interests? How do I get there? And to be able to give back in a mentorship position, to talk to our kids and allow feedback, and to take them to work every now and again, and to come in and discuss and share your problems. That's what we need. That's what kids need. So our foundation, and we've been around for about 3 years now. What we're doing in Boyle Heights, we want to take and show the world. The projects, our partners, we all look at Boyle Heights as the starting ground. Yes, it's where Will grew up, but this is not. Will's international. We would have loved for him to be here today, but he is international, and he like the foundation, we have to change the approach of the kids of how they look at themselves. And I know time is up, but I'll be 2 seconds. The kids in Boyle Heights, the ones that we took to China, the ones that we take to DC, the ones that we take to San Diego to give a speech in front of 15,000 folks. Some of these kids have never seen the water that's 13 miles away in Santa Monica or Venice. It's about exposure. It's giving them an opportunity to see what's out there and what they can become. So again, with JP and Mark, we have, the kids are so excited to be involved in 3D solutions. And we look forward to the partnership growing, not only in LA, but to our other markets as well. Let's go back to Detroit. Let's change Detroit, like we're doing in Boyle Heights. Let's go down to New Orleans. Let's change New Orleans. Let's go to Chicago. Let's go to Oakland. There are many areas, urban areas, that kids are forgotten. And the i.am.angel Foundation, with the help of our partners, will not let those kids drop off. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.